My name is Marieke van Erp and I lead the Digital Humanities Lab at the Netherlands Royal Academy of Arts and Sciences Humanities Cluster. The Humanities Cluster is a collaboration of 3 of the Humanities Institutes, and my research group is part of all 3 there to foster the digital humanities research. Today I'm here for the Amsterdam Time Machine project. Basically what we want to build is, you could say, a historic Google Street View of a city. So you can go back in time and see what happened at a particular location. You can access documents that were written in a particular period for a particular time. And that will help us to really get a better understanding of the past. And it's really bringing together all sorts of different resources, different communities, different researchers to build an as complete picture as possible of this past. The Amsterdam Time Machine is also not one single project, but we also use it as an umbrella for several different initiatives that have the goal of making available the historic past of Amsterdam. What we did was make available linguistic information, so about Amsterdam dialects and socialects, information about social status and social mobility, so who paid taxes, were they rich, what did they do, and about the cinemas in Amsterdam in late 19th, early 20th century. So the thing that binds them is that they all have something to do with Amsterdam, and actually we can all put them on a map. That enables us to say, well, at this particular point in Amsterdam, this street corner, there was a cinema, and we know that people spoke this and this dialect, and that the houses here were very, very expensive. Whereas more traditionally, a linguist would not be looking at information about whether this was an expensive neighborhood to live in or not, or what kind of movies were on in the cinema. So the kind of technologies we use are geographical information systems. So we really have amazing GIS experts who manage to build all these maps and can link up all this information from the different time periods and the different naming conventions that we used for all the different neighborhoods and streets, as well as semantic web technology. So that's really the underlying infrastructure to connect very different resources. But it's really an effort of finding the commonalities between the data sets and then still preserving the richness and the diverse dimensions that they have. That is something that I'm personally quite interested in my research. Of course, the Amsterdam now is very different from the Amsterdam of even 10 years ago or 50 years ago. But because we have all this data and we're trying to link it up, you will be able to compare these. And that, I think, is super exciting. And that's something we didn't have before. And only technology enables us to do that, because there's only so much you can do as a single researcher. But by combining it and by visualizing it, by enabling us to query different databases at the same time, you can really make that multidimensional picture that we need to fully understand it, and to also realize the gaps in when we just work with the one database. I think we really have to be very careful about how we share the raw data. One of the things that humanities researchers historically have been very good at is to contextualize data, and I think we still need that, because you can throw a database out there, and in the Time Machine we are gathering a lot of data, but we need to provide the context. I think for the majority of the people, they will be accessing it through some sort of application, some sort of use case. You can imagine, for example, that the Belvedere Museum build some augmented reality app on top of the Vienna Time Machine data, where they serve up additional information about the painting, where it came from, who owned it, maybe if it was painted here in Vienna, where that was, and then people could go to that location, or if it was bought by a rich person and hung in their house. So those could be the kinds of environments that we present the data. I think for people to understand that you can't just take a digital tool and apply it to a humanities question, and at the same time you can't just, as a computer scientist, say, well, I'll just take this humanities person's data set and I'll do something with it with my tools, and then I've done something digital humanities. It really takes a lot of thought and a lot of understanding of the different aspects to really do this well, and I think that is sometimes overlooked. I really believe in putting the teams together to work together, and of course that means that as a humanist you need to understand some of the computational stuff, and as a computer scientist you need to understand some of the intricacies of the humanities domain, and that's how you learn from each other, and that's also the very exciting thing. So I would like people to know more that it's just very complicated, but a lot of fun.